Hi everybody, this is Patrick. I'm going to start trying to do something new with my channel. And that is a new series called Please Help Me. And what I want to do here, and the idea is, instead of reading YouTube comments and then cursing people out, what I'd like to do is actually do videos in a two-part series where I show you an item that I have a specific purpose for and things that I want to do to. Tell you where I got it, a little bit about its history, what I want to use it for, and the specific, either restoration or modification I want to do to it. And then the second video will be me performing most of those modifications based on your internet comments, which should be fun. So we do have a first item here. It's a old magnifying lamp, and I bought this at a flea market for $10. And the old saying is they don't make them like that anymore, and they really don't make them like that anymore. Normally nowadays this is solid metal. Every piece is metal. So don't put it in your pants and go through airport security. It also has a base, which they normally don't put on these kind of lamps anymore. Normally what they'll do now is they'll put a clamp on it, and you clamp the base to a table. This has a base that has two weights in it. It's easily 20 pounds. It's not going anywhere. So my plan for this lamp is, unfortunately, not to do restoration on the on the cosmetics. I wish I could, but my shop for now is, as you can see, this little corner of my kitchen. So until I get a larger shop with some more sophisticated tools, if that even ever happens, that kind of modification is going to have to be put on hold. Also, really, I'm only going to be using this for myself. I'm not going to be reselling this or putting it on eBay or trying to sell it or trade it. So it's just really going to stay here in the shop. I really need something like this for soldering. So there are two modifications that I really want to make on this particular item. The first one, let me see if I can get it in a position where you can see it. The first one is, as you can see, it has a fluorescent bulb and there's a ballast transformer in the base. I'd like to ditch all of that and use LEDs in place of this fluorescent lamp. Honestly, I haven't even turned it on. I don't think I want to. I think I just want to get the fluorescents, get the LEDs and put them in and power it with a USB power supply. So that way, if I ever need to do something, if the power goes out, I can just plug in, a battery charger. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, I bought this from a dealer. And my problem with these dealers is they don't have any clue on how to store anything properly. So this was stored on the floor, of a shed or a trailer. And the base just really got rusted and destroyed. So I'd like to take this and just get all the rust off it. I don't necessarily care about what it looks like, because I am going to be covering it with a rubber mat, except for the screw holes. Speaking of the screw holes, of course, it's so rusted. One of the screws really got stuck. And you can see this one where I tried to use a wire wheel to clean it off. I got this item, which I've seen other YouTubers use. This is an impact screwdriver set. And basically it's a handle, and you insert, either a ratchet piece or a screwdriver head, and then supposedly you pound on it with a hammer or a mallet, and it'll remove or loosen rusted on bolts and screws. It didn't work that well for me on this project. I think mainly because you really need a lot of force with something like this. It's really for, you know, seized bolts on engine blocks or brakes. And I was just using a hammer because I didn't want to damage anything. Luckily what happened was I was able to loosen it enough so I could just rotate this entire plate with the screw on it and rotate it off that way and just tap out the screw with a mallet. So those are the two things I want to do with this item. I want to replace the fluorescent light with LEDs, and I want to get the rust off of this base. I'm probably going to use the internet's favorite method, which is submersing it in vinegar, white vinegar, and then brushing it off, letting it dry and see how it goes. So with that, if anybody has a better method of removing the rust from this base, or plans for using LEDs inside this housing, my plan initially is to get those free handheld lamps. I have one that you get from Harbor Freight. Take the LEDs out of that and stick them in this cowling, and then power them by USB, and just power them through a USB charger. So I'm going to do some preliminary taking apart. I am going to take off the base now that I can, soak it in the vinegar, and I'm going to take out the bulb and also the lens, and I'm going to try and polish that up also. Thanks. Okay. Yeah, once again, these are these two gigantic weights in here to weigh it down. And I would assume this is the ballast. Yeah, all of that's just pretty much going to go in the trash. So we have the plate and the 3 screws. I'm right here in the kitchen. The white vinegar is immediately available. So let's put that in. Just enough to cover these screw heads. And I'll let that go probably overnight. I'll brush it every once in a while, see how it goes. Let me also take this bulb out. And I also want to take the lens off and see if I can polish it up. Okay, there's the bulb going in the garbage. And the lens is held on by 3 clips that have a spring that kind of press the lens into the frame. Let's see if we can get those off. Okay, this lens actually is in pretty good shape. I don't know if I can get a close-up here. There are some spots where it's not great. I can probably polish it up a little. But let me give it a really good cleaning and see what that does. So we have pretty much everything I wanted to do in the first video done. I wanted to take the lens and the lamp out. Wanted to get the base off and get that soaking in vinegar. The only other thing I might do now is just take out the wiring and the electronics in preparation for using those LED bulbs. Okay, one thing I did want to show you before I logged off is, you know, these lamps that you get from Harbor Freight. They'll usually just give them to you free with any purchase. That's where I got mine. They actually have two different types once you take them apart. They have a type that has a bank of LED lamps. And they have a more modern type that has this LED strip. So naturally, my preference would be the LED strip. I can fit up, you know, 2 or 3 of these. These get very bright, so I'm thinking maybe just 2 into this housing, and it would barely even be noticeable. So I only have one of this kind. I gave one to my dad, so I'm going to rewire this old one and give that to him and switch that out. But yeah, anything I can find on how to wire up these LED strips to a USB power supply, that would be great. And we'll see you next time when we're ready to put everything back together. Thanks for watching.